Well, Roger, thanks for your time today to talk over this Highlanders squad. Let's start with the management. No John Preston in the mix at the moment. Is there another coach to be added?
Yeah, no, John is in the mix, Tom, where we've just changed his role. He's become our high performance development coach. So that entails still doing skill work and helping develop the wider squad, but also working with the young, talented players from our region that we're bringing into the squad or want to introduce to the squad, the wider squad over the year.
And there was talk of a specialist forward coach to be added. Is that still on the cards?
Yeah, no, definitely. We'll hopefully be able to confirm that in the next week or so. We want the person to start on the 10th of November, so we've been working on it for a while, but hopefully to sort out the detail and be able to announce something in the next few days.
And the co-captaincy, are they continuing with that, or has no decision been made?
Yeah, no, they are, Tom. Nasi and Ben developed a lot as leaders last year with the rest of their leadership group, and they're both very keen, as we are, to continue that in 2015.
All right, let's look at the squad itself. With 10 new names, so a nice refreshed look to the lineup.
Yeah, look, I think every year you're going to have a certain amount of turnover, but you want to keep some sort of continuity, and we're pretty pleased with the level of continuity we've been able to keep. That definitely helps build capability, and so to add a little bit of vigour and spice in, and again capability with new players to that, and try and develop and grow what we had last year is what we've tried to do, and we're pretty happy with where that's got to.
A lot of the talk, of course, is around the Type 5, where there's been the most changes. Perhaps struggled at the back end of the season last year. Some guys with current form, existing guys like Fear and Manawatu, but also new guys like Gordon Hayes from Tasman added to the mix.
Yeah, look, I think everybody was talking about it, weren't they, the commentators and the fans at the end of the year, that it was a great year, but we were probably let down a little bit on the tide at the end of the year and didn't really have the depth of the other teams or even the size in some ways. So, we've worked really hard, and some of that recruitment's been forced, but other of it was tailored, and we're pretty comfortable that we're there. We've got the form players coming in those positions, or guys that the coaches feel that they can develop into the next Kane Hames.
And due reward too for performance at ITM Cup level, obviously Tasman and Taranaki players being recognised across the whole franchise network. Yeah,
look, I mean, that's the coach's job, is to pick the best team that'll give the Highlanders the best chance to do well, and those guys have been the form players through ITM Cup. There's only so many players that you can pick from, because obviously we've all got, before ITM Cup starts, all of our squads are sort of sitting at about 22 to 25, and that's the sort of continuity you want between seasons. But the rest of the guys, the last 7 or 8 or 9 positions are always there for ITM Cup, and look, it worked really well for us last year, and the guys that we selected out of the form players from ITM Cup ended up, quite a few of them turned into little gold nuggets for us. So if you could do 2 or 3 of those every year, you'd be pretty happy, Tom.
Absolutely. Obviously, Fekitoa was a case in point last year, and Buckman. In Fekitoa's case, do you know Jamie's thinking of him as maybe a second 5 option? Will there be some direction from the All Blacks to give him experience there, or do you see him as a centre in this team?
Yeah, look, a bit of both. Obviously, we'll take direction from the ABs, and I know that the coaches have been talking to them, and obviously we'll do again after the end of year tour, but also in discussions with Malakai that where he'd like to be. But with the way our midfield is, most of the guys can play 12 or 13, so it can easily be adjusted depending on the whim of the selectors or even the player in this case.
And it's got a bit of a wow factor, this team, isn't it? The line breakers like Fekitoa, and Naholo is a good pickup from Taranaki. He's been great, and Emery's been busting the line, so these guys can do damage out wide.
Yeah, look, I think that Brownie had the backline going pretty well last year, and we'd like to think that we've added a little bit more expected to that backline while keeping the solidity. Marty Banks is another one that was a form player that provides us with more options. And look, I think it's exciting. It's exciting for the fans, and based on our coaches performed last year and what they were able to get out of the team. If they can do the same again this year, then I think we'll all be pretty happy.
We know in the draw that you've got the bye first week, which is traditionally a horror one, but does this mean that your All Blacks will be able to start in that first game against the Crusaders?
Yeah, it didn't think that we'd ever say there's some positives about having the draw in round one, but the positive for us is the fact that they will be able to. So, look, whether they will or not is another thing, and it will depend on how they come back from Europe.
When you did the selection process, obviously those last couple of weeks have been a bit of bartering. Is there some players you missed out on? Was there a fierce contest, or did you pretty much get who you targeted?
Yeah, look, I don't think you ever get everybody you target, and when you've got 5 teams and you get down to the last few players, everybody's, the analysis of the players is such that everybody's, and the coaches are so good that they've all identified the same players. So you're all chasing the same players. We didn't miss out on many, put it that way. So, we're pretty happy with where it ended up, and looking forward to seeing how these guys can translate good ITM Cup form into Super Rugby.
And it's also good to see how you can include, obviously, our local base with the wider training group and the likes of Ryan Tongia, who didn't quite make the starters, but we know from experience how quickly a wider training group player can become a regular and with injuries.
Yeah, well, you just have to look at Richard Buckman last year and see the transition he made from the wider training group to being one of our, regular starters. And the guys in that wider training group are full-time athletes now. They get obviously paid to be full-time, and they can get selected in every game. And if you get the opportunities like Richard did, and as long as you take the opportunity, the opportunity, then you can do anything. And from our perspective, there are a couple of other players that we'll include outside of that official squad, and to, I suppose, help develop them as players, and also develop them as Hollanders. And young Scotty Eade from Southland will be one of those.
And another player I think that's worth mentioning is Dan Pryor, because there's a guy who's turned down big overseas contracts with a determination to play Super Rugby, not wanted by the Blues. Could be one of those surprise stories, and he'll certainly be a fan favourite, I feel. Yeah,
look, he's an exciting player, isn't he? He's played well, not just in this year's ITM Cup, but he's been consistently good. Probably surprising that he hasn't picked up a contract earlier, but he looks like he's ready to go. He's another leader, captain of his province. And, I think he'll be a fan favourite. I know he is up in Northland, but I think he will be down here as well. And I think he fits our way pretty well in the style of rugby we want to play. So, he could be, with the loose forwards we already have, I think the addition of Dan ensures that we've got a pretty exciting loose forward trio leading into the competition.
And lots, and I know it's a bit of a cliche word, but it's a leadership help around too, with the likes of Pryor's experience and Shane Christie captaining Tasman. Of course, you're not short of assistance for the co-captains as they are. Yeah,
look, I think last year, Tom, that shone pretty brightly. The Shane Christie star, anyway. He, as far as leadership goes, we didn't have a lot of strong leaders in our team. Ben and Nasi were young and early to that role. And his assistance and support for them was outstanding, as was a guy like Joey Wheeler. And I'm sure Dan, as a provincial captain, will just help grow that group even further. So, that's a really positive move for us.
And just quickly, the program from now until Christmas, when do the squad actually get together for those initial sessions?
Yeah, look, they've already, a lot of the new guys were in yesterday for medicals. Everybody goes on holiday now, and as far as the players go, and they start back here on the 29th of November, train through from 29th of November to the 19th of December, and then they've got a break over Christmas and start back again on the 5th of January. So early start this year, first pre-season games on the 23rd of January, obviously being World Cup year, so there's no mucking around after Christmas, so not too much Christmas put for those boys.